Total Modcons Podcast.
Music by David Newland.
All up in your face, it's me, Triangle Face. Ollie's had a trouser accident, but he is still here.
Get ready for Total Modcons Podcast. Blemish just pooped his pants. Total Modcons Podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Spooky.
That's a pretty spooky entry there.
It is absolutely terrifying. And quite apt because Blunners has had a trouser accident, hence why he is not able to make
on
it.
his way.
So, yeah.
Reminds me of that game. Isn't there a game called it's not called Trouser Accident, but it's like you're playing someone it's hard to walk and you're trying to get to a toilet or something. Did it come on one of the Xbox showcases? It was the latest Call of Duty Expedition 33, the get race to the toilet game.
Is that the guy that just sort of walks really oddly?
Yeah, there's a guy just walking oddly and it's like he shat himself. So
we'll go off on a tangent straight away because ultimately,
why not? Baby steps. Is that Colin Brown's baby steps? I think that might be
baby steps. Okay,
yeah.
So the thing with that is, if that is the premise of the game, he's in the outback. He could just drop trow and go.
I suppose so. But that is what Blunners is doing this evening because he may join us later. He's having some baby steps after a trouser accident. So there's still time.
Yeah, there is still time. But anyway, it is gone 8 o'clock. It is time for TVG Presents ModCons, the Halloween special. We're going to be all spooky all October now because, it's October. Who doesn't like spooky stuff? He needs to pee, not shit himself in baby steps. Okay. Excellent.
Oh, okay. Well, our version is trouser accident. So I suppose you could be baby steps.
We could make it.
Shall we say hello to the chat?
Yes.
Do the buttons today.
Yes.
Yet.
Who have we got? David Newland. Good evening. I hope you enjoyed your music there, David. Band worthy, that track. Solid. Good evening, David. Always good to see you. Mike Holton. Good evening, Mike. Hope you're keeping good.
What did you get, Mike? So recently bought something Halloweeny, but not video game related. Please feel free to let us know what it is.
I do like me some Halloweeny stuff. Toxo. Good evening, Toxo. We've got Chris Dunham. Good evening, Chris. Rob Taylor. It's never the same without you, my friend. Good to see you. We got Colin Brown. Good evening, Colin. I hope you are good, my friend. Tails as well. Tails from the Jundland. Gruesome greetings back to you, sir. Mag. We do miss you, Mag. We literally were just saying that we haven't been over to see you for a while. So I hope you're keeping good, my friend. It'd be great to catch up with you soon.
Right. That is who we have so far this evening, plus some lurkers.
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, actually,
so this evening,
where is he? There we go. Oh no, he's gone. No, there he is. Morley Buxton.
Morley Buxton. Good evening, Morley. Sorry to have missed you there, pal. Okay, so it is just myself and Triangle Face. So it's like my father said when I was a bairn. Let's get cracking with the nagging. Tim, what are you playing at the moment?
So I am playing the current Game Club game Dead Space, which I'm really enjoying. It's really hard though as well. I keep dying in certain areas, just getting really stuck. I just find those little tricks to be like, oh, if there's like a pole or like a canister somewhere, you can just like use the telekinesis thing to like throw it at stuff. So I'm getting a little bit better at finding those opportunities. I think there's one area where like after you, I don't know, installed like the power unit and something, loads of enemies start coming at you.
Yep.
And after knowing that, it's like, okay, I'm going to go around the whole area, grab a bunch of the canisters and just pile them up in the corner. So then when the enemies come out, it's like one for you and one for you. So I'm trying to get used to doing all that and, trying to level up my weapons evenly, because you get to points where like you get different types of ammo. So like, okay, if I just put all of my XP in one weapon and then run out of ammo, then I'm a bit buggered anyway. So but yeah, the combat in it's really tough. They really come after you and jump out of nowhere.
They do.
So it's a little bit tough, but it's enjoyable. Like I'm playing the remaster as well. Graphically, it's really impressive. I think this makes it even better. So
it's one of those games where the original still held up until you played the remake, and then you went, "Oh, it really does look better, doesn't it?" And yeah, I'll die on that hill. I know that the Dead Space remake pretty much is just a 1-for-1 remake of the original, but it's all it needed. It didn't need to be changed in any way. It just needed to be better graphiqued, I think.
Yes. I should play it on story mode. No, I want to be scared of dying the whole time. Because I want it to scare me. I've also been playing, I've just started it, so not played much of it yet, but I did get, it was on my Steam wish list. I need to remember the title, but something Whispering Outbreak on Whispering Mountain or something. In fact, let me check
sounds
what
intriguing.
it's called, because I don't want to get the name wrong. Where is my Steam library? I do really recommend this game as well. It's like a survival horror pixel art. It's really like a homage to lots of like old games that I've loved as well. Let me just go. How do I find there's my library? It's called Whisper Mountain Outbreak.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend giving this one a go, because it's really cool. I've been playing that on the Steam Deck, but I'm tempted to also maybe play it on dock to my Steam Deck, or play it on my PC or laptop as well. Just can play it with a mouse. But yeah, that's really cool. It's kind of like you can do multiplayer. So if anyone else gets it and wants to hit me up for some multiplayer, then let me know, because it'd be fun to play with some other people. But you go in, you've got like limited ammo. It's almost like a escape room kind of puzzles to get about, and then you get moments where there's like an outbreak and lots of like zombies and monsters come at you. That's been really fun. I've also been playing a little bit of South to Midnight on Xbox. That's been pretty fun. That's quite an interesting graphical style, because in some of the cutscenes it almost looks like claymation or like cel shaded kind of stuff. I don't know if that's really like a horror game as such, but there's some kind of creepy horror elements, especially like the enemies and stuff. It's all quite dark in places. And you sort of slowly reveal some of the town's darker secrets as you play. So yeah, those are the games I'm playing currently in spooky season. I've got a few others that I want to kind of get onto throughout the month if I get a chance as well. Keep the horror vibes going. I'm very tempted. I've not got it yet because I want to finish Dead Space. I think the next game I want to pick up is Alien Rogue Incursion, because I thought that looked really cool in PS VR. So I do want to pick it up, and I just finished watching all of Alien Earth. I'm like, yeah, I could go for like a high adrenaline horror alien game right now in VR. That's going to be cool. So
watch this space then.
Indeed, I might be talking about that in the coming months. And how about yourself, Ollie? What have you been playing?
So I have been back on this game on the Switch 2 because I've been traveling a little bit for work. And that is the absolutely pant-wettingly terrifying Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's such a scary game, but I'm really pleased to be getting back into it. It's thankfully it's not one of these games where if you haven't played it for a while, you forget the controls or forget how to do things. It's quite intuitive, although I still think the jump button's the wrong button. But there we go. It's Donkey Kong 64 on steroids. It's great. I love it. Camera angle can be a bit of an arse. Especially when because you can dig really far into the levels and effectively destroy everything almost. But when you're going down, I guess it is difficult for the camera to do anything because it's solid ground until you either break into a cave or dig a hole big enough. But you do just kind of get lost. Like the camera's just somewhere and there's a tunnel that you can see that you've dug, but you can't see in it because it's in the level. So that can be a bit frustrating. But it's a really charming game. Hopefully it will spawn a few more Donkey Kong games because it's reminded me just how much excuse me, Donkey Kong works in 3D. And then of course I have been plowing ahead still with Silent Hill.
Yes, how is that then?
It's really fucking good. It's really, really good. The complaint that I've seen online from people is they don't think the combat has much for it because it's all melee. There's no guns. There's no firearms or anything like that. Well, so far anyway. It's just poles, pipes, bats, and sort of, I can't think what they are, but they're Japanese, sort of old Japanese weapons. They're really long staff with like a blade on the end. I don't mind the clunky fighting controls because you're a young schoolgirl who doesn't exactly have military training or know how to fight or anything like that. So it kind of feels like the controls play into exactly what Max said. It feels exactly like you're playing into this character. It can get a bit annoying, but again, it's just, I see it as the character. If you hit the main attack button twice and she does one swing and then the monster goes to attack you, you're kind of locked into the next move. So that can be a bit frustrating, but that's just me getting trigger happy and I'm just spamming the attack button sometimes. How
are you finding the... So go for graphics first. I was going to ask you how you're finding the story as well, but spoiler free because I do want to play it.
The story's great. How it ties into the Silent Hill universe, no idea. Couldn't tell you anything yet. There's a little part of me that hopes it doesn't. I just would quite like it to be its own little thing, its own little standalone game that just features things from Silent Hill in a different setting. Like, so I'm kind of hoping it doesn't. I'm sure there will be the odd every now and then into like the universe, whether that be seeing a Robbie doll somewhere or I don't know, something that will tie it in. But at the moment the story's really good. It's dark, which you would hope being Silent Hill, but it certainly is dark. It's doing some some big things with the story in terms of the type of character you're playing, the era that you're playing it in, and how that is going to affect your character moving forward, especially seeing as she is female. So it's great.
Did you ever play the Short Message?
Yes.
The free game. So that was pretty cool. That was quite a short game, but it was had some good like themes in it, like the way they actually explained the story and what was going on. I thought was quite clever.
That sort of introduced this idea of they call it the Silent Hill effect, where it doesn't have to happen in Silent Hill. It could just be that it can happen anywhere. It just depends upon your situation and what it is that's either plaguing you or what you're being punished for or whatever it is. So I kind of like it. That's kind of a cool idea. I would quite happily not have them explore that as an idea as well, and just have all these games be their own thing. Not everything has to be this, massive, ever expanding universe. It could just be like the DC equivalent of Elseworld. You just have a story that has nothing to do with the other ones. But it's absolutely top. Atmosphere wise, stunning. It's really cool walking around like a really old, dilapidated, like 1960s Japan village with the fog everywhere, and because it's an unfamiliar setting, well, specifically for me anyway, that makes it even scarier because it's not something I can sort of recall from memory. Whereas at least with something like Silent Hill, everybody's been to, a suburban area of England or America, or like just a dense area. You've been to towns, you've been to cities, so you can at least pull that from recollection. Whereas this is completely alien to me, but absolutely wonderful experience so far. So may it continue, and I hope it sticks the landing.
Yeah, nice. I'll definitely have to try and get a go on that at some point.
Absolutely.
Finish some of the other games.
So before we jump into some horror themed ideas and some horror themed questions and discussions that we're going to have, it's probably worth talking about some horrifying news as well that has come about recently. And that is the scary price hike of Game Pass. This is the first generation, as we've said many times now, where I haven't bought an Xbox. I don't have Game Pass. And I understand it's gone from £10 a month to...
No, let me just get the pricing up now, because there was different tiers of it before, but then you could go up to Ultimate. But the difference between like the mid-tier and Ultimate is fairly small.
Right.
But yeah, it's now... I think it's gone up by... Well, Max said 50% more there. But I don't know if it's... I thought it was like pretty much double, wasn't it? I know in America it was double. Let's just have a look. So Xbox Game Pass pricing and see what the actual amounts are now. Yeah, no, it's by 50%. So it's a 50% increase, not 100% increase. Let's see if it's actually got the amounts here. This is all in dollars. Let me see if I can find it. Bring up some stuff on it.
Max put it there. It's $11.90. It was $11.99 for Ultimate. Yeah. It's now $22.99 for Ultimate. But in America, it only went up by £10 or $10. That you furiously type away there while I chime in on something that I don't know.
After, let's see if I can get it together. So, the core one, which is the Xbox Live entry level, is $6.99 a month now. Standard pass is $9.99, then Ultimate is $14.99. But then after the new pricing now, so standard doesn't look like it's gone up. It's unchanged. It's still $6.99. The premium, which replaces essential replaces core, then premium replaces standard, which is now $10.99. So that's not gone up too much. But then ultimate is now $22.99. So ultimate's got quite a bit more. So it's that weird thing where, like, I think the difference before is if you're paying £7 for essential, it's only £3 more to get the next one, right? And then after that, it's like, well, it's only £5 more to get ultimate, and there's loads. And it's almost that thing they do, like I've seen it compared to when you go to a cinema and buy popcorn. Like, they never sell the medium-sized popcorn. Like, you don't really get many people buying that because it's kind of pointless. It only exists to give people that segue to go to get a large. Because if you just had the small and the large, more people go, oh, I don't want to pay that much, or just get the small. But if you have a small, medium, and large, you go, oh, actually, it's only a little bit more for medium. And if I'm going to bother with that, I might as well go for the large because it's better value. And it basically helps people make that transition. And it felt like the jump between the mid-tier and the top tier before was like, well, I might as well pay another £5. That's not too much more. But now you're paying quite a bit more, you know.
Double.
So,
well,
yeah,
50%
double.
more.
Yeah, so more. Which is a lot.
I mean,
I haven't cancelled mine yet, but I know a lot of people cancel it. The main difference here is they've kind of maybe made Ultimate a little bit better, but they've made the mid-tier a little bit worse. I feel like that's a bit of a dick move. But it just means that they've now all the day one releases, which is always a really cool thing. If you're watching the Xbox showcase, it's like, this is coming out to Game Pass day one. This is coming out to, like, apparently they're going to have like over 70 games that are going to be day one releases on Game Pass. And I think 70 games for that much over the total price of the year is probably still good value if you're going to play enough of them. But too many people have just been like, nope, I'm out. And they've not just been like, oh, I'm going to drop down a tier. They've just been like, no, I'm just done with it.
But
So
this
I
is
think
the trouble,
how
isn't it?
people.
This is the trouble, especially when it's we've talked about things like the cost of living and brand loyalty and a multitude of different topics on this podcast before, but I think the thing that people are becoming really, really savvy to nowadays is massive corporations, and I mean massive. I don't mean sort of. I couldn't tell you a mid-tier corporation, but but corporations that are turning over billions of dollars and pounds in profit every year, and that's not just breaking even, that's profit. Can't just look after their customer base during a particular period and make them feel like they're getting a good deal, because there's one thing that brand loyalty, in order for someone to feel loyal to a brand, is they have to feel like they're getting a good deal and they have to feel like they're being looked after. And I think people are becoming very savvy to when they're being taken for a ride. And did Microsoft or did Xbox need to increase that price? If they left it as it was or increased it by just a couple of pounds or a couple of dollars, would that have meant that they were only going to break even? Like, absolutely not. They would still be
they could
turning
have
over
done it
huge
in
profits.
if they did it in tiers, like they had one small price increase each year or something. But to go boom off the bat now, it's going up by this much. It's just made people question it. So actually, do I still want it? Because it's a significant increase. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I've not cancelled mine yet. I am going to keep with it because I do like just having access to the library. But we'll really need to assess how much do I actually play on it, because I've got a big library of games across multiple consoles at this point that I can play. I'm not going to be short of games to play, that's for sure. I'm not going to be like, oh, I've run out of games. Always going to have something. If I never bought another game ever and I didn't subscribe to any of the services, I would probably have enough in my backlog library across my PlayStation and Xbox to never run out of games to play. But when the shiny new thing comes along and you see the showcase, you're like, oh, that looks good. If they bring out, the next Spider-Man game, or like when the Wolverine game comes out, I'm going to want to be getting like the latest releases for certain things, but very picky and choosy about what I pick up. And I think paying for Game Pass Ultimate, I'll just be like, well, if it's on Game Pass, I'll play it. So I'll probably play more modern games with Game Pass than I would, because I find it hard to justify spending like 70 quid on a game if it's like a new big title when I have that backlog. Because I can't really justify spending 70 quid on the game for myself, and I've got all of these good games I've still not played. I find it hard to justify. Whereas if I'm paying a monthly subscription and then the games just come on it, I'm more likely to pick up. But tempted to go, maybe it's the time to cancel Game Pass and get PlayStation Premium instead.
I mean, this
that way,
because it's bizarre, isn't it? Because PlayStation's PlayStation Plus service, in my opinion, has just been going strength to strength. It's always been a good value, I think. Originally it was £5 a month. Now it's £7 a month, $7.99. I can't remember what the base level is, but that's increased since the PlayStation 3. So this isn't something that they've in the last year gone, oh, we're going to jump from a £5 to £8 or whatever it is. It's happened gradually since the PlayStation 3. And there's always been the option. They've never they did bring in tiers, yes, but the tiers that never meant the base option was ever completely ridiculous or not affordable, and you were getting something for it as well. And maybe you are on the base Xbox one, but I think when people are used to paying, say, 12 quid for the ultimate premium package, whatever it is, to then all of a sudden have to pay double that for the same service. Whereas with PlayStation, it was, well, now you can pay a bit more and you can have access to all these games to stream, or you can pay a little bit more on top of that and you can have access to all the new bits and bobs as well. But it always felt like a good value. I don't feel like I'm ever being shortchanged as a PlayStation customer, especially with the PS Plus, like 3 free games you get just for your baseline level. And you don't even have to download them. Just click add to library, bosh, done. And then
the thing with those as well is this is why we kept saying before, when there was games with gold. We said games with gold just needs to give it up now because everyone's like, oh, on Xbox, it's some like random 360 game where you play a panda. And on PlayStation Plus, it's like Metal Gear Solid or something like that. It's like, it was always like much bigger game. Like, what is it this month? We've got like Alan Wake 2, and it's got Cocoon.
Yeah,
like,
Cocoon,
really
Alan Wake 2.
Like, I said on the Facebook group before, Cocoon's such a good game. Like, don't sleep on that. Get Cocoon and have a go on it. Because I've really enjoyed Cocoon. But even before, back when we were going, what was Game Pass this month? What was PlayStation? Every single time we did it on ModCons, we always agreed, PlayStation's got the better lineup this month. But like, is Xbox ever going to win on those? But it never did, and then it did die.
And it died, which I'll still claim that we did. We didn't at all, but I just love that hashtag Games with Gold has to die. It's, I don't know, because if I think if I had Game Pass or the PlayStation equivalent, I don't think I would play a particular game fully. I think I would maybe sometimes maybe just complete the story, and then I don't know if I'd ever go back to it. Where there are certain things that I've gone back to, like Silent Hill 2, the remake. I've more than had my money's worth out of that, and I am still going to go and do one more run because I want to get everything in one sitting as well. And I just know that there are games that I probably wouldn't have done that with if I had a subscription service, purely because I think I'd feel like I need to play more games to get the value for money, if that makes sense. So in order to get this value of having all these games available to me at launch or day one or whenever it is, I'd feel the need, I'd feel compelled, I think, to be playing them, maybe not to their full extent. But like you, I've got a massive backlog. If I never bought another video game, looking at all my games here, if I never bought another video game for the rest of my life, I think I've got enough to keep me going.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't mean that the price hike for a multi-billion, multi-trillion dollar company is right. You know, it just feels like, I mean, I've sent you a reel on Instagram, and it's it just sums up everything to do with Xbox. They've gone from being this really, quite cool company when it came out, like Xbox 360. It was this really cool thing, and they've almost become like the corporate older brother that's just kind of sold out a little bit. Not that you can really say Microsoft's sold out. I mean, it's Microsoft, for God's sake. They've made and built everything. But it would be nice if every now and then a company would just recognize their fan base and recognize everything that consumers do for them, and realize that it's not just for the shareholders and the investors. Because if you don't keep your customer base happy, then they're going to go somewhere else. And in this modern world where you have options coming out of your asshole, like, eventually people will just go somewhere else, which is a shame. So I think it was Toxo that said earlier, we need healthy competition in a consumer society, because that's the only way everybody gets better, or it's the only way consumers win. If there's just one monopoly on everything, then, well, that becomes dull.
Yeah. Yes, like I say, it also drops the need to provide a competitive service, because what else are you going to do? If there's only one, like, I don't know, phone carrier, if your phone carrier starts being rubbish, you can't go, well, I'll go to the other phone carrier then, because they don't exist. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just looking there at what Dave Newland has said. That is absolutely true. It's exactly this. When Sony announced the PS3, because it had a Blu-ray player in it, and they decided to make the privatization of Blu-ray so that other companies could make Blu-ray players, that's how they managed to be able to swallow the loss of every PlayStation 3 console that they sold. Because I think even the slim models, they were selling at such a loss because of how much money they'd put into R&D and to make the console itself. They just ballsed it up, basically. But they didn't at any point make the console more expensive. It was expensive initially, I do get that. I paid £500 for my PS3, which is
eye-watering, really, thinking about it now. But the PS3 Slim and the subsequent models came right down to Xbox 360 prices, and they were still making a loss on every single PlayStation 3 console sold. But rather than just charge people £1,000 for a PS3, it's a case of, right, well, we need to swallow this and just get cracking. So why Microsoft can't do it, no idea.
Indeed.
Never mind.
Yes. Shall we move on to some horror topics
Let's
for the show?
go
we've
to
got
this.
here some modern horror gems.
Oh yes. I get really fed up with people saying, just in general, there's just no good games anymore. Like, there's just modern gaming's just not good. The stories are crap. It's just Call of Duty, first person. It's not. It couldn't be any further from the truth. Modern gaming is in a fantastic place. So I thought it would be fun to talk about some modern horror games from the PS4, PS5 era, Xbox One, Xbox Series era, and just see what horror gems we could come up with. I'm happy to go first if it gives you some time, unless you have some stuff there ready to go.
No, you can go first.
So I've talked about this one before. I will talk about it probably forever. This is a horror franchise that I love. So the fact that it got a video game and the video game was good really just made me very, very happy. And that is Blair Witch.
Oh, yeah.
This is fucking awesome. Considering the movie is, student filmmakers get lost in the woods and then stuff happens and you kind of have to just decide for yourself a little bit in the film as to what is actually going on. That game is absolutely fantastic. You are, 8 to 10 hours, first person, trekking through the woods, and they manage to absolutely nail the atmosphere from the moment you pull up in your car and get out and enter the woods. It just transforms and you become very much like they do in the game. You become very disorientated very quickly. There is no real sort of battle mechanic. You've got a torch. So I guess similar to like Alan Wake, you can kind of shine your torches on these entities, which you don't ever really get a clear look at, which makes it even creepier as well. And the story is really good. It really builds on the Blair Witch mythology from the films and the books and comic books and all the things that they've done to really just sort of flesh out that world. So I would say if you see it, I no idea if it's a rare game. I don't think it is. I think it's probably free with a bag of chips, actually, to be fair. Blair Witch, pick it up. It is absolutely fantastic. Dive onto that. Would you like to take one?
Yeah, let's do one. One game I played, I think it was last year I found it. It was one on Game Pass. It's called Carry On. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think that's how it's pronounced. But you basically play like this monster, this kind of like a like biomass of tentacles in this like research facility. And it's you breaking out. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like a Metroidvania game. It's got pixel art sort of style graphics. And you kind of get around this facility. And then every time you kind of get to new parts of the research facility, you like get different upgrades, and then you can do different moves, and then you can sort of break out into other parts of the facility and keep going around. It's kind of like a Metroidvania thing. And that's just really fun because like you sort of shoot off from one platform to another and like stick to the walls and like crawl around the walls and stuff. And then when you want to kill the people, like grab some like guards and stuff, you like shoot these tentacles out and like pull them in and just eat them, and then you get bigger because you're created from like biomass. So at certain points of the game, you have to like get bigger to do certain things or smaller to do certain things. And if you want to grow, you just eat people. And there's some really cool puzzles in it as well. It's a good puzzle solver. There's a few actiony bits where you've got to try and get past some guards and some robots and gunfire and things like that. But it's mostly about figuring out how to use your abilities to get around. And then you upgrade where you can go through water and turn into like a swarm of worms. And then when you get out of the water, you like reform into this like blob monster again. And yeah, it's like a reverse horror game because you are like the monster that's terrorizing this facility. I won't spoil anything else, but it's got a really cool ending as well. Really liked how they finished the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to take a look at that. I like the sound of that.
It's not too long either. You could probably complete that like over a weekend if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice palate cleanser if you're going from like a really big game to another. Have a burn through, carry on.
Nice. I like the term palate cleanser. That could tick a box.
Yes, I like a palate cleanser every now and then in between game. It's like when you play like a game for hours and hours and hours. It's quite blatant. If you finally done, it's really hard to then pick up another game. It's like, oh, this is another like 50-hour game. Sometimes you just really go, actually, I'm going to play a game that I can maybe beat in like 6 hours.
Yeah,
and have a little bit of a short game in between.
Nice. Next game I am going to talk about as a modern horror gem. I don't know if we went up to it, but I definitely at the Debug Awards last year. Was that last year or this year? I can't remember now.
Last year was Debug Awards, yeah.
Okay. This game won a Debug Award, and they had the I think it was the composer or someone from the sound engineering team there, and I had to tell him just what a wonderful experience this game was. And that is Still Wakes the Deep.
The Deep, yes.
This is
won a couple of awards, I think.
Debug. It's so good. It's Lovecraftian. It's a bit icky. It's a little bit gacky, which is right up my street in terms of horror. It's set in 1975. You're on an oil rig off the coast of Scotland, where some shit goes down. That is the best way to describe it without getting into the nitty gritty. It's a game that is best experienced knowing nothing and just play it. It's from the same team that did Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. So it looks breathtaking. Everything is so well recreated in terms of a visual experience. And unlike Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, you have a run button, which is quite useful. In Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, you don't have a run button. It's very slow, but that's the point for that game. But yeah, Still Wakes the Deep. I'm sure I saw that in an Amazon sale recently for about 15 quid. Easily one of the best horror games for a while, and for 15 quid you will not be unhappy. So yeah, Still Wakes the Deep.
It's good suggestion, very good. I think the next one I'm going to shout out is one that we played at WASD. I think it was we played on this one. I haven't had a chance to play a bit of it since. That's Crow Country. It has that PS1 art style. Feels very Resident Evil, but almost a little bit more cartoony. But it's very creepy. It's got a few jump scares in it. I think that is a good sort of modern retro indie horror title.
Agreed.
I recommend.
Another one that sort of falls into that category as well that Toxo's put there.
I was literally just trying to put it.
There we go.
He's going over it. Yeah, it's Grim Up North.
So good. It's Grim Up North. Always looks fantastic. We've seen that at a few events now. Absolutely top tier. Love the title as well. You can't go wrong with that as a title. I wouldn't be able to not talk about this game, especially seeing as it was that bloody good. Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm going to go with that being a modern horror gem. I'd go as far as to say it's a modern horror classic, because it faithfully recreates Silent Hill 2. It brings enough new ideas and enough new puzzles to the table where it does actually feel like you're playing a game that you kind of know, but at the same time are surprised by. It's the best example, I think, of a remake next to Resident Evil 2, where things were changed up enough and expanded on enough for it to not be a one-for-one like Dead Space. But Dead Space is a different ball game. It's a different atmosphere. But yeah, Silent Hill 2 was everything I'd hoped it would be and more. I was really worried when this game was announced. I was really bloody worried when the trailers came out and it sort of looked okay, but there was just something about it which didn't feel right. And then the game came out, and thankfully it was, universally praised as everything that it should have been, which is great. So I don't even know, is that on Xbox as well, Silent Hill? Or was that PlayStation
I
only?
think it's only PlayStation. Yeah. PlayStation only.
It's it's just so good. I think my only gripe, my only complaint, maybe is possibly still the design of the main character. His face is just a bit weird. Not sure what it is about him, but it's absolutely breathtaking. So Silent Hill 2. Oh, apparently Mike Holton's saying there that Silent Hill 2 joining PS Plus later in the month. I mean, if you don't have it, now's your chance. So breathtaking stuff. Do you have another one, Tim?
Well, I think this is something I talked about before. I don't think this is a hidden gem by any stretch, but it's the Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, the Resident Evil 4 remake. All of the Resident Evil games in VR for me have just been the best VR experiences that you can get if you're into horror. There are some good horror VR games. The thing as well, it's easy to do horror in VR because you're immersed and you can have just jump scares and cheap little scares. But I think 7 for me was the better game. I preferred 7 in the story and the progression of it and what you had to do. But 8 was scarier. I think 8 was a lot more heart pumping, like adrenaline, because of the combat. Because the combat was more like Resident Evil 4. It was a lot faster. It's like they're running at you. You got a lot more ammo, things like that. Whereas I think 7 was a bit more you're fending for yourself, trapped in this like derelict house, trying to find the little bits and pieces. It felt more survival horror because you're like, oh, I've got to find limited ammo, get some weapons to try and just get through alive. Whereas I think with 4 and 7, it's more kill stuff, get more ammo, kill more stuff, and killing enemies feeds you ammo and stuff a bit more. But there's definitely some crazy jump scares in 8. I actually think one of the hardest bits was right at the start when you're like in the village, and then like all the Lycans come, and you're in a building. You have to like pull the chest of drawers in front of the door and barricade stuff in, and there is tons of them coming at you. And I can remember just about surviving that section of the game, thinking, "It's only just started. Like, is the game going to be this intense the whole way through? I don't think I can handle this."
I think in VR the answer is probably yes.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, great game. I think I will go back and play it again. But when I played 3.7, I played 3.7 like 4 or 5 times, getting like the speed run, getting different achievements. And what I like to do with Resident Evil, because Resident Evil isn't a bloated game, it doesn't take that long to get through.
No,
I think the first time I play it, I'm like, no guides, no spoilers. I'm just going to play the game as it's intended. And if I miss stuff up, so be it. And I'll play through it. Then I'll go back and be like, right, now I'm going to do it with a guide, so I don't make sure I don't miss any collectibles and get everything. And then I might go back and do a speed run or, unlock one of the special weapons and stuff. And yeah, there's just really cool stuff that happens in those in both those games.
This is true. As if by magic, the power and the wonder of finding himself some new trousers, a new player has entered the building.
Using some Halloween magic.
It's Blooders. He's frozen.
Is he frozen? He's had some baby steps this evening on the way to the outhouse.
You are in, Blunners. Can you hear us? Or have the trouser accidents gotten too much?
Yeah, I was having a trouser accident at Portsmouth Academy, so that is why I am late. Sorry, everyone.
That's all good, man. We're just talking about some modern horror gems. So if you have a particular game you want to talk about in a moment, please feel free to bring it up. My last pick is going to have to be one of the games that had so much controversy around it. It probably still has controversy surrounding it, really, when you sort of play the game and really experience it. And it is it is a unique experience. For me, this is a masterpiece, not just in horror but in video games. And for me, that is Martha is Dead. I got so into this game when it was coming out. It might have even been Blunners. I think we were talking about it a lot in the build-up. There was a lot of chatter about it being censored, it being uncensored, it being banned in some countries, and ultimately the PlayStation version opted for a slightly edited experience, and you didn't lose anything narratively. You didn't even lose anything visually. You still had all of the incredibly upsetting moments happen. The only difference was on PlayStation was it was a cutscene that you couldn't interact with, and on Xbox you had to do the motion for certain things to happen. So that is the only difference. But that game is so special, and I really can't speak more highly of it. It ticks every box that I want as a horror fan, as a narrative fan, just a fan of really good stories. And its setting is so absolutely unique. There's no other game like it. I don't think there's any other game set on the verge of it being the end of World War II in Spain, with the atrocities that are happening in the world at that particular period, coupled with this incredibly dark, sad, and tragic story of a family as well. I really can't say anything more about it. I think people can probably tell from how I'm talking about this. This game is absolutely stunning from start to end, but there is a but, and that is the word of warning for people, regardless of how much I say I love it. If you are offended by visually upsetting things, if you're not good at dealing with very, very adult content, then it might be worth just checking out some of the gnarly bits that happen and read about them and decide whether or not it's something you want to experience. And I only say that because some of it is incredibly upsetting. But it's just magic. It's absolutely magic. How somebody managed to green like that and make it work, I don't know. But I'm very pleased they did. I like it, if you can't tell.
Do you know what, as soon as you started talking, I knew it was going to be Martha is Dead.
Yeah, it's really special. Blunners, have you got some modern gems from horror games?
Yeah, so I'll say we have spoken to one of the developers as well, our recent Knots VGE, and that will be Texas Chainsaw Massacre Online.
Good shout.
Great. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It captures. I like to be the one that's being hunted and trying to get out rather than actually being the hunter. But I found the gameplay, the setting was bang on. And when we found a bit more in depth to actually what went into that game, you feel like, you just felt it is a great horror title. Also, back on the PS4, that was only a download only PT. The PT demo. Yeah, I felt that was really good. And obviously, the modern VR is just trouser accident time. Anytime you put a VR headset on, so any of the Resident Evils in VR, I very struggle to, because it is proper. That is proper, like poo your pants. Scary,
Yeah. It's we were just talking about the Resident Evil games in VR, and I've got to ask if either of you have you both played Resident Evil 8 in VR?
Yes. Yeah.
Only the beginning bit because I stopped. I was like, nope.
So it's I don't think it's a spoiler. It's not going to give any story away, and we don't have to describe the setting or anything around the question I'm going to ask. But I found the baby very squelchy and a little bit disgusting.
Squelchy.
So
Yes.
in VR,
Yeah.
did you let the baby catch you just to see what happened in VR?
I don't think it let me, but I think it got me anyway.
Okay.
It's yeah, it's I think as well. I didn't play Resident Evil Village straight away because it wasn't VR to begin with, and I was like, I want the first time to experience the game, and I don't know what's going to be next to be VR. And that section is also right after a bit where you have a period with no items, if I recall. So you don't have your weapons ring with you, and that alone is horrible. And it's being chased as well. The fact that it's what it is what it is that thing makes it even worse. I think it's something chasing you when you don't have anything on you is probably the scary thing about it, regardless of what it is that's actually after you. But yeah, it probably seems the same as non-VR, to be honest, when you're being squelched.
Because that bit in the game, I was like, oh man, this is grim. And I thought in VR, this bit would be disgusting.
I think the only criticism really I've got of the game is they should have left their house Demetresque as the end.
Yes,
that was the first act, and that's the best act. It it doesn't go downhill, but it's not as good after that. You know what? It goes like you've got the house, and then you've got the other bits when you go to like the factory and all that sort of stuff. I don't feel like those bits were as fun. The thing that was the most fun of the game was trying to get around the house with Lady Demetresque like chasing after you. And that was also where a lot of the jump scares for me was because like you're in a room, think, hang on a minute, there's no other doors out of here, and you turn around and go out the door, and then she like steps underneath the door frame to stand up. It's like, ugh! So yeah, that was. I think they should have left that to the end. That should have been Act 3, not Act 1.
Yeah, it's I want a lot there. Worth it for Lady D in VR. Yeah, there was that meme that did the rounds, and I'm sure we've talked about this before as well. But there was that meme that did the rounds, and it had Lady Demetresque with her daughters, and it was like running around an old mansion getting hunted by vampires and a really tall lady. Like, this is my idea of heaven. Yeah, dead good. Mike Holton in there as well. Outlast is great for that sort of game. You just run like fuck. Yeah, Outlast, the first one, is absolutely terrifying. All you've got is that camera with night vision mode. Terrifying. Really good experience. Okay. Before we dive into our penultimate topic, if anybody does have some random questions they want to ask, get them in the chat. We will star them and we will answer them at the end. Not necessarily have to be spooky and horror related, but at the same time, it is a horror special. So do feel free to ask all kinds of spooky, wooky horror stuff, and we will get to them at the end. So this next one, Blunners is going to have to think on the fly, which is always good fun. Horror franchises that would make a good game. You can feel free to talk about why you think it would be a good game. You could also talk about what style of game, if you have given it that much thought. I have a little pile of movies here that I think would make good games, which I'm happy to start with, unless somebody else would like to kick it off.
Nice.
You go first. You've got a pile there.
Oh, so my first pick is a bit of a weird one, and that is the film Class of 1984. Oof. So this is a dystopian future where, you know, punk gangs like that were the people you needed to be scared of. That is terrifying. It's based off of a book where, it's a very dystopian future where kids run amok and they effectively just run the world, run the cities, and it's one of Michael J. Fox's earliest movies. In fact, he's called Michael Fox in the movie. He doesn't have the J even yet.
Oh wow!
And because it is of its time, and is aged not quite like a fine wine, but it's still a really fun experience. And you can tell when it came out, it hit maybe a bit harder. Now it's got a bit of a campness to it. I would like to see this game in the style of something like Saints Row, where everything's a little bit larger than life. And you can play the game in two different narrative styles. So you can play it as the teachers. So you're effectively standing up against the kids and building like a little resistance team, or play it as the kids. You are trying to take over. You want to beat the crap out of the teachers and take over the streets. And I thought playing it in two different ways would be an interesting dynamic. So that's my first pick, class of 1984.
Okay. I think one for me, I'll say this again, I have pitched this in the past, but I really like this idea, is having a procedurally generated roguelite based on Cube, because I think it just caters for it so well. So every time you go in, it's random rooms. You got to try and get through as many rooms as you can until you get killed, and then you start all over again with like a new character and just unlock power-ups and stuff to eventually try and get through. I just think that would work really well. That could also maybe be like a fun multiplayer as well, which you have like 4 people in the cube with you and you've got to solve puzzles and not get sliced apart. But to offer something new, I think something like Cabin in the Woods could be interesting.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to give too much away for anyone that's not seen it, but for people that have seen it and know what goes on, I would say this would be something similar to something like Five Nights at Freddy's. So you would actually be behind the scenes looking at stuff going on and trying to not let stuff get out of hand or come back and bite you in the ass. And I just think that'd be a real twist on horror games. You know, it'd be something quite interesting. And you'd have like different stuff and monitors, things like that to go and monitor what's going on and figure out what, you know, if there's any intervention you need to have and that sort of thing.
Nice. I could absolutely play the shit out of that. Mainly because I love the film. I think the film's fantastic. So that would be a really cool spin on it to sort of have it from the observer's perspective rather than from the people in the camp. That's a very cool idea, Tim. I like that.
Thanks.
Blunners. Yeah. So I just had a thought about it, and I think I was just having a quick look. I think in the so I'm thinking Hitman style of game, but you're the killer in Scream.
Ooh.
Okay.
So you turn up to the house. You've got to try and get into your outfit, and you've got to try and take out your targets, but one at a time. And obviously you can't blow your cover, but Hitman style. And then once you've done everything, get the hell out of Dodge. But yeah, I think
if you took your mask and cape out,
the
mask and cape off, you could just walk around the party,
walk around like normal, but then actually hide the bodies. So yeah, it'd be a Hitman style. So it'd be like camera behind you, you walking around into the rooms, check them all out first, have your targets, and then get your bonuses for taking out X, Y, and Z using all types of different killing types, like obviously like all kinds of stuff. But obviously the main one has to be with the butcher knife. And chasing them around. But yeah, because that was one of the first. That was one of the first like scary movies as a kid I saw. Not like obviously I saw like the 80 ones, but this was like when I was actually a fully grown adult and thought, you know what, I'll actually go and watch this at the cinema. I was old enough to actually go and see it, and that was when I thought, oh, actually, okay, this wasn't too bad. But then they kind of ruined it. But yeah, I think the first couple were great.
Yeah,
okay.
But yeah,
I really like that idea. That's a lot of fun. Because that's the thing with Scream, is it's got that air of spooky scariness to it, but it's fun. You know, they're really good fun movies. So that would be a really good. Oh, I like it.
The way they break the fourth wall a bit in the movie and then in the series, you could take that trope and then put it into the game, because you could have the characters in there saying, "Oh no, horror doesn't work in computer games." Things like that. You could kind of do that same sort of trope, couldn't you?
Yeah, I like it. I've got a couple more, so if you do have more, please do. Feel free. But the next one is I'm going to run with Paranormal Activity, which I know is its own franchise in its own rights now. Some of the movies hit better than others. It seems to be with this franchise, every other movie is really good. So the first and the third one for me are top tier found footage movies. They are really, really good. But my idea for Paranormal Activity would be in the style of Outlast. So like Mike Holton was talking about earlier, you would have it like a found footage type thing. You would walk around with your camera and you would be trying to capture what was happening around you at the time in your home. Intermittently, I would like to have some sort of item management system in it whereby you could order particular pieces of equipment, whether that's new cameras, night vision goggles, or something or other that you could bring into the mix as well for completing certain tasks throughout the game. It couldn't be something as dull as going to work to earn a salary. So it'd have to be you'd earn credit from I don't know, capturing something moving in the kitchen, and you build up credits to get a better camera, get better recording equipment, with the whole thing culminating in the ending. And again, it would have to be like the different sort of endings for each movie. You could have a multitude of different endings depending upon how you chose to interact with the spirit in your home. Did you choose to communicate with it? Did you choose to just ignore it and observe it? And dependent upon the level of input you have with the spirit itself will determine what type of ending you get throughout the game. So hopefully that would increase replayability. But Paranormal Activity is my next pick. Tim, do you have
another one I think might be quite fun to have quite a lot of creative freedom with is Creepshow. Because every story is completely different, so you could have like an overarching setting. Yes, maybe you have like the. Oh no, sorry, I've stunned.
No, dude, go for it.
But yeah, you have the the Crypt Keeper guy that's like the overarching world, and I don't know. You could use books or pictures or whatever it is to like go to that book, open it up, you then go into that world, and then there's a story and a game to play out, and then once you've completed that. And then you would maybe collect them as like pages to a book or something, you know. And then each time you find a new page, there's a whole other world to go into and things to do. And then you add that to your collection until you've kind of built the book up or something like that. And then you could have different genres of play style. You could even have like different art styles. I think that would be like a really fun creative project as well. If you had like a bunch of different devs that came and said, right, you work on a game based on the Raft. Off you go. You make a game based off of the Hitchhiker, like off you go, make a game out of that, and you could just end up at the end with a compilation of loads of mini games, or not necessarily mini games, but like a compilation of short horror games that all come together in a one compilation.
The only part on that I had that was similar was each anthology piece being a different style. So if somebody wanted to make a first person action game, they could. If somebody wanted to make a point and click, they could. It was just but yeah, great minds think alike, don't they? Certainly do. I'm going to shelve Creepshow because that was a good run. Blunners, have you got another potential idea?
So I've got a bit of a silly one here, but I'm going to call it Scary Movie Kart Racer. You could have all these characters, Jason X. Do you know what I mean? You have Michael Myers. They've all got their own go-karts. They've all got their own levels, which is based on their Leatherface. Have all their own kart racing levels, and then they can have all different types of weapons that you can pick up, like a knife thrower, a chainsaw. You could have like the Chucky doll as a kart racer, so all these 80s ones that all have their own separate levels that are based on their film.
That's brilliant.
Nice. That would work pretty well as well, wouldn't it? Should have such a good cast of characters.
And you can even have the silly ones from Scary Movie, like the jokey ones, like the high face scream mask, like
Yeah.
You can have like all the different power ups as well. You could have like Pinhead from Hellraiser, like shooting hooks out of people.
Shooting, yeah.
Oh,
So,
dude, that's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
That might be my favourite one so far.
that is
Pinhead
good.
on a penny farthing. Penny farthing, yeah.
Oh,
Like
amazing.
Georgie
Art the
with
clown
the
in a little
red
clown
balloon.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You could have a lot of fun with that, couldn't you? Just with all the different power ups and stuff.
You really could. My last pick is a modern horror movie. Now, for me, this would be a game of two halves. The first half of the game would be you collecting owed debts and collecting bits of money here and there so that you could set up your bar. And then the last part of the game would effectively turn into a horde mode. And I would be basing that off of Sinners, which is a really bloody good movie.
Yeah,
It's so cool, and it is a cool film. It deals with a lot of things like race, and it's got some deep vibes about it as well. But ultimately, the thing that this movie does above anything is it just is cool as fuck. The whole thing culminates in it's a vampire movie, and it's very much a survival movie. I don't want to give much of the story away, but yeah, the latter half of the film takes place in a bar, sort of similar, I guess, to like From Dusk Till Dawn, which would also make a great game.
I heard on that.
But I would have the game in two halves. I'd have you getting your clan together so that you could have the bar set up is the first part, and then the second part of the game would be the actual attack and you having to deal with that in a horde mode type style scenario. The floor is open to any other suggestions.
Okay, I've got another one. I was trying to remember the name of the film, so I just looked it up. It was The Cell, which has got it's got Jennifer Lopez in it.
It's a good movie, man.
It's a good movie because that has got a lot of that takes place in a dream world.
Yes,
and so as soon as you say it's a dream world, you can have whatever mechanics you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you just have a lot of fun with that. So you can maybe take the premise of it and maybe have it with different characters than the movie. So have it more as like a spin-off and based on that. Mm-hmm. But then, once you go establish you're going into a dream world in the mind of a psychopath, you can just have all sorts of crazy stuff going on and be trapped in there trying to get out. So I think that, that kind of writes itself, I think, at that point. It's like, you're in a crazy dream world. You're trying to get the hell out of there. Again, that's going to be things like you're being chased and you're massively outgunned, rather than you're going in as an action hero with like a bazooka and a bunch of shotguns. It's like, no, you're just a psychiatrist that's in over the head and trapped in a horrific dream world. I think that kind of puts the fear on the player that you're just trying to survive and escape.
Yep. Just before we give Blanners another opportunity, there's been some fantastic suggestions here.
I've got no more.
Leslie Nielsen as an incompetent Grim Reaper for your kart racing game. Jason Voorhees on a unicycle. The Sordal on a tricycle.
That's a good shout, yeah.
Mate, do you know what? I think Scary Movie Kart Racer has become the winner for best game.
Scary Movie Kart Racer.
The best type of franchise that would make a great game. So yeah.
It's a bit of a steal in every horror franchise. You've got to pick your choice.
Horror Dreamworld should be back. Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I mean that would be cool. You know, that would be a really interesting survival horror type game. The thing that while we're talking about horror games, is the thing one that I am really excited for, which we sort of talked about earlier, Tim, before we came on, was Hellraiser. There is a Hellraiser game coming out. It is not a PvP, team up, survive type game. It is actually a game. It's a first person game. There's a story, and it looks really good. I hope it's good and it's not just a massive pile of poop, because the premise and everything around Hellraiser just opens itself to some really screwed up ideas, and it's got every potential to be a fantastic little series. So yeah, very excited by that. Let us know in the chat if you've also seen the trailers for Hellraiser. Is it called Uprising? I think it might be called Hellraiser Uprising or something like that. Unleashed. No, Unleashed sounds too corny. Someone look it up. Hellraiser something for all the modern consoles. We do have a couple of starred questions. So just while Tim is tippy-tappy typing away there, if you do have a question, feel free to throw it into the chat. We do have a few minutes.
It is Hellraiser Revival. Looks
Revival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, can I just tell you what I've been playing and
Oh, mate, yes, of course.
my thoughts on the Game Pass. So I've been playing obviously Dead Space, like everyone else, the remake, and rather than spend, I'll speak about it. I was playing it originally on the Game Pass. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Falling straight back into where I was. I kind of know what's going on. I find it a bit too linear at the minute, where it's telling me where I shouldn't go. But we'll speak more about this when we talk about the game. I've played Bubsy 4D, brand new demo. It's just dropped on Steam Deck.
How's that?
Wank.
No.
Really not as good
That's
as I was hoping. Yeah,
That's
it's like
a
a
shame.
3D, not great. I've played a game called Paper Clay, which is on Wishlist, which is coming out soon. Literally reminds me of like an N6. It's like N64 type, Glover type 3D world, but in Yoshi's Crafted world, fully like papery looking. You're chicken called Nugget, and one's called Chicken, one's called Nugget. So there's two of you, but you're the main character going around trying to find eggs. All the little characters were voice acted as well. It's like reminds me of like a Donkey Kong-y kind of. It's fantastic. And then the music, when it was going off, one of the music is done by Grant. I can't remember one of the guys who done the Donkey Kong rap. So he's nice. One of the main guys. But he's on stuff on ukulele and stuff like that as well. And then I picked up a load of dirt cheap games on Steam Deck. So there was a Lego. There must have been some sort of Lego deal on, because I picked up Batman 1, 2, 3, all for less than £3. It was about £3 in the end. It was about £1 each. It was dirt cheap. But and then quickly onto Game Pass. I have cancelled it. That price hike of £7 to £8 was a bit too much for me when I'm playing games, and I just thought, you know what, I'm actually going to start owning my games. So rather than giving £22 to Game Pass this month, I went and spent £10 on eBay and picked up Dead Space remake on Xbox. So I'm now thinking, rather than spending money on games I can't play, I can't carry on, can't keep, I'll put that money to games I'm going to keep. So got another Steam Deck video coming in, because I picked up a really big title, one of my wishlist games I wanted. But I just felt the £7 price hike is a bit too much, and the £15 one that I would have been happy to carry on with is not worth the money. If they had done it £2 or £3, fine. Like £8, £8, I think you're taking the piss. And then they've had to come out and say that they are still looking to bring out a console, because people were looking at there was a comment from an insider apparently saying that this is their last actual physical console, but they've actually come out and said it's not. So shame. So annoying.
It is a shame. I mean, me and Tim said earlier, one of the things that's certainly annoyed me, and I don't even have an Xbox. This is the first generation of Xbox that I've not bought one. But the thing that feels like a real kick in the face is this huge multi-trillion, possibly certainly multi-billion-dollar company,
Yeah.
and they can't just swallow the cost of that extra bit just to keep people on side, you know.
But they said it was profitable. So, and real quick, how would you fix it? So their website crashed where everyone was cancelling. They've lost so much. They've shot themselves in the foot. How would you fix this if you were Xbox? Real quick, what do you reckon? I've got what I would do to fix it, but
I think I would just call this generation loss. I think I would just go, let's just,
you know what?
let's just keep pumping out games. We'll reduce the price of Game Pass back down. Not everyone's going to come back, and let's just start planning and preparing for what we're going to do next, and really think hard about what consumers want.
Yeah.
And just really gun for gamers. Like, really just make it an all gamers console, and just fucking go for it.
Yeah, what about you, Tim?
See, what I'd want them to do is lower the price back, but I don't think that's what you should do if you were in charge of Xbox, because then you're just kind of admitting that you were wrong and upsetting all your fan base. So I think there's got to be something else to do. But I don't know. I think it's just make once they've set that price, make it as good as possible so that people still want it because of FOMO. Do you know what I mean? Like, make it so that you get really good stuff in those tiers, and make it so it is actually still good value for money, because it is a lot to pay. So I think it really just depends on what games are coming out. Because I just say they've got like 70 titles coming out to Game Pass day one, which I'm hoping are going to be some real belters. Because I'm kind of keeping it for now, but it's not going to take much for me to go, actually, I'm not using it.
Yeah. And that's basically why I got rid of it, because I thought I'm not using it. So yeah, at the minute, you look at their company, there's 3 stages. They've got their own they've got games that you can play on cloud everywhere, games that you can play day one, and they've got like a partnership where they're also delivering games elsewhere, so on other consoles. I think what they need to do, if I was head of Xbox, is I would stop throwing all my toys out of my pram, and I would keep all my shit to me. You want Call of Duty, you come to us. You want Bethesda, Skyrim, you come to us. You want Fable, Outer Worlds, you come to us. Only place you're playing Call of Duty this year, boys, is on Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. Or you can't play it on PlayStation. You can't play it on Switch. Like you're saying, you want to come to ours, play our only titles. You think, look at PlayStation, they've only brought one game out really. The samurai one. What's called?
Ghosts of Yoti.
Ghosts of Yoti, and it's phenomenal, and it's hitting all these targets. But I think if Xbox put all their toys back in their own pram and said, look, this is what we're doing, you only play it with us, and you've only got the one console, like you said, this generation's done, mate. You've just, what little subscribers you did have, you've just pissed them all off so much so that your website crashed. I don't know, and I had a look at the games that are coming out. Outer World 2, or am I really going to play that? And is it worth me paying that sort of money constantly up for it? No, it's not. So they've got all the big guns. They've got Activision. You've got the rights. You've got it all there. Lock it down, lock it in, and get your own restart and get a new start again. Because that's 2 cycles now. 2 cycles on the 360 that haven't worked. So something's got to work.
I think just having a vision, and a clear vision from the start, and then just don't detract, but don't do something stupid. Like, don't do something that is so monumentally corporate that you lose your fan base. So like we said earlier, Tim, about original Xbox and Xbox 360 were cool. It was a cool console. It was a cool company.
It was amazing. Sliders, the setup, the way it looked. Do you know what I mean?
Even Phil Spencer looked cool. He came out in his t-shirts and his jeans and talked to you because he was a gamer, and all of a sudden you were like, oh wow, like this guy seems to really know exactly what's up. It transpires he really actually doesn't, and what he actually knows now is that investors are the people he wants to please. Well, that's what it feels like anyway. And doing really corporate things, like if you buy a game, you're not going to be able to play it or not going to be able to trade it in because the game's going to lock to your Xbox. Like, what was the point in that? That was the most ridiculous thing that they ever could have come out with for the Xbox One. So much so that Sony did a parody of it.
Pissed, didn't they?
Where they just did a 10-second video saying how you share games on PS4, and it was just two dudes and one guy went,
game,
"Here you go."
Passing
He goes,
the game over, wasn't it?
"Thanks," and that was it. And you're like,
Yeah.
the consoles aren't even out yet, and already this is not a good start. So they backpedaled on that. They backpedaled on the whole Kinect being this massive integration between your,
it didn't
home
work, did it?
TVs and all this sort of bits, and you're like, oh god, this is just not a good start. And it didn't really get much better, which is a shame. But never mind.
Yeah. Never mind.
There we
But
go. Yeah. So we do have a couple of questions. Let's go with the first question. So TVG panel and chat. Any game moments that made you jump that wasn't a horror game? For Toxo, it was an unexpected slog attack in Abe's Odyssey. Any jump
you
moments?
That
in a
wasn't
game
a
that
horror
wasn't
game.
I think for me it'd probably be the same. Actually, be Abe's Odyssey. I think there's a bit where you drop down. I think it was the scarabs. There's like a scarab that's like does it screech and then just runs after you, and you have to like run. And I think there's one time I was playing it and like it's in the shadows. So you don't see it at first. I didn't know it was there. And I just heard the screech, and then I just saw the shadow going like this. Screech like, and I start running. So yeah, probably the same as Toxo actually, but it was a scarab rather than a.
I'm just having a look at games.
Yeah. I'm thinking the bit on Crash Bandicoot when the ball drops and you're running away from it for the first time.
Oh yeah, the boulder
You're
running away
shitting
from the
myself
boulder,
thinking,
yeah.
where's the jump? Where's the jumps? Trying to make the jump as you're running away from a boulder. Because that hadn't really ever been done before. Coming towards the screen and a boulder coming from behind, and you have to just outrun it and make all the jumps. And as you get further through, the ones that are further on, that are really hard jumps to make. But yeah.
Do you know the one that really got me thinking about it? It was Mario 64, and it's not even a jump scare. It just made me go, oh! In I think it's Dire Docks, where you swim down and you've got the giant eel that pokes its head out of the thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And then if you swim close enough, it comes out. And I thought, oh, no, I don't like this. Swim away. Run away.
I thought yours was being chased by a crab, Ollie, or something.
Oh, there's no games with crabs in for me. Thank you. So, yeah, the eel in Mario 64 was the first one that really made me... Ooh. Question from Le Mike Holton.
Oof.
What is the most expensive game you have?
I've got a couple.
What is the most expensive game? I mean, I've got all the Silent Hill games bar Shattered Memories and Origins on PS2. So I've got Silent Hill 1, Black Label, beautiful condition, and I've got Silent Hill 2, 3, and 4. Those are now sort of getting into triple digits. They're quite pricey.
I've got Zelda 1 and 2 NES mint condition boxed, and also got Conker's Bad Fur Day mint condition boxed.
That'll
and
do
Banjo Tooie N64 boxed mint condition.
Ooh, that also will do it.
Probably Wind Waker that has the Majora's Mask Master's Quest version with it as well.
Oh yeah, I got that as well. Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
I think that goes for a lot. I was trying to look up if any of my older games are worth much, but I don't know if there really is. But two things: I've got DuckTales on the NES. I don't know if that goes for a lot. And then Metal Gear, but
Original.
on the NES, original Metal Gear on the NES. I don't know how much that goes for. No, mind that probably not a lot. I'd probably buy it for like 20p.
Oh, I've also got a Virtual Boy original.
Nice.
Yeah, which from America.
Nice. The most expensive game that I was never going to spend money on, that I managed to get secondhand in game, and I was so excited when I saw this, to the point where the guy in game was even like, "Oh, you've got a good deal."
Shit, I didn't see that.
Was Godzilla on PS4. There was no way I was going to pay 50 quid for it brand new, because it didn't look brilliant. And then it became this really rare game, and I thought, oh, I wished I'd spent 50 quid on it now, because it goes for 130, 140, and that's come down. At its peak, it was like £300. I was like, I am never spending this on a
Crazy,
terrible
mate.
game. And then in game, it was in the second-hand section for £19.99.
19.99. That's good.
£19.99. I thought, this is about the price I was willing to pay for it. The fact that it's now really expensive and rare is also a nice bonus. Surprise, surprise, it wasn't particularly good. So very glad I only spent 20 quid.
185 quid in CEX.
Wow, it's weird, isn't it? When you get these games which is like randomly
Mental.
worth loads of money, but the game
Yeah,
itself
why
isn't
is that?
great.
I just don't
It's
get
like,
it.
why is
Low
it worth
print.
so much money if it's not very good?
I think it's just because it's low print, isn't it? There's not.
It's not.
And it's a
There's
known
not many
IP as
of
well,
them.
isn't it? People know Godzilla, so it's not like a random game. It's like it's a Godzilla game, so there will be Godzilla fans who want it in their collection of random rare Godzilla merch.
Yeah.
There is one thing I do want, and I've wanted it for years and never got it yet, and that is the Panasonic Q.
Oh, play DVDs, isn't it?
I really want that bloody thing.
Shiny as
Yeah.
well. You'd want to make
even
sure
if I
that
buy-
had no scratches.
Even if because you can I saw there's a YouTuber that he actually like 3D printed the parts he needed for it, and he bought it all, and it's an absolute cluster F. Like the whole inside of it's all just stacked on top of each other. But they I'd love to have one of them. It's the one thing I'd love, like a nice shiny Panasonic Q.
Nice.
Yeah.
And last question from Mike Holton.
Oof.
What was your first horror film you watched as a kid? Now, I may have told this story before. I have a multitude of core memories.
Can we guess yours?
You can give it a go. I don't know if you'll guess it though.
Exorcist.
Nope. And I don't think you'll guess
No.
my age.
Nightmare on Elm Street,
Which one?
first one.
Ooh.
No.
Was it one of the others?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tim was close.
Close enough.
He was about as close as it gets. So the first horror film I ever watched was A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And we were at a family friend's house. I think I must have been, I think I was about 6. And I vividly remember the older kids said they wanted to put a film on, and they said it was scary. And they said, go and ask your mum and dad if we can put this on. And all I asked my parents was, I can't remember the older kids' names, but it's like, they're going to put a film on. Am I okay to watch it? And my parents were just, well, yeah, of course, that's fine. And then they came into the living room at the moment where Freddie pulls up the gym teacher in the shower, has him like hung up, pulls the gym clothes off, does the awful camp bit of like whipping him with a towel, and then slashes his back open. And my parents were a bit like, oh. Is this what you're watching? Okay. And sort of we left way before the film ended. But the whole car ride home, all I kept asking my parents was, how did they do this bit in the film? At the beginning of the film, they're in a bus, and then all of a sudden the ground disappears and they're on top of something, and it just how did they do that? And my parents, I think, were just flabbergasted with the fact that I wasn't crying or going home being upset. I was more intrigued with, how did they do this? And then from there, it just kind of got a bit out of control. So there we
That's
go.
your origin story, I think.
It is my
His origin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
Nightmare
my
on
origin
Elm
story.
Street too.
Correct. So yeah, what about you boys?
Tim,
So I'll do mine then. So mine was, I think, it was Alien, and I think it was one of the school holidays where me and my siblings like stayed around my grandparents like for a long weekend,
Mhm.
and so my parents were at home, me and my siblings at my grandparents watching a movie, and it was, I think it was like when it was first sort of aired on TV. So I don't know how old I would have been, but I remember we were watching it like with adverts on. And we watched the first bit of the movie. My grandparents were there, and I don't think they were really paying attention to what was in the film. But nothing that bad had happened yet. It was mostly just like dialogue and bits at the start of the movie. And then they're like, "Oh, it's getting late now. We're going to go to bed." And me and my brother are like, "Oh, we're allowed to finish watching the movie." And my brother's a few years older than me, so my grandpa's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. Just like go to bed when the movie's finished," sort of thing. And then after they'd gone to bed, there's then like the scene where like the alien just like bursts out the guy's chest. I was just like, "This is the best film ever." I just thought it was awesome. I was just like, "Oh, this is so cool," because I felt like I was being allowed to watch like a proper grown-up movie. And at that point, I was just like, "Oh, this is like the coolest film I've ever seen."
Nice.
Yeah, mine was Aliens, and
Nice.
the face hugger is what shit me up because I must have fun fact is if I'm ill and snoring and my missus cannot wake me up, the only way she wakes me up is by doing the face hugger on my face, and I jump out of my skin like what the fuck, thinking I'm about to be well, yeah, about to have a blooming alien planted inside me. No, you've got it as well, but yeah, that's the one. That is, yeah, that thing. Jesus, that gives me nightmares
cuddly.
as a kid. That was,
It's
and
a
I was
cuddly one.
only yeah, I was only
It's
even
all
at
fleshy.
like I must have been like 5 or 6, and I've come down the stairs at that part, wrapped around his neck and his face, and yeah, so always it's completely gave me in a trouser accident. So yeah, alien.
First of many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think that brings us nicely and neatly to the end of our ModCons horror special. We've talked all things spooky, all things frightening, and hopefully given some people, if you've not played some of the games that we've talked about earlier, do dive on them, especially if you want some something good to play this spooky season. Yeah. Always a pleasure.
We're back tomorrow, aren't we, as well, for an evening with. Got an evening with Alex
are.
from Catloaf, and we're going to be discussing Book of Abominations.
Yeah, which I've done.
Horror
Which I
train.
released the wishlist game on. It's fantastic.
Indeed, it does.
Like I said, it was like, yeah, it's a great game.
Nice. Mike Holton's put there, has anybody ordered the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K collection? Do you know, I really wished I'd pre-ordered the Gordon, yes, mate. just be warned, like I said, it's very, very adult. But let us know. It's the only way I can describe it, man. It's like, it's really dark. Do let us know how you get on with that, Gordon. I would, if you're not already in the TVG Facebook page, please head over there, join it. That way you can keep us updated with where you are. I'd love to hear what you make of it. Mike, yes, I have the Nightmare on Elm Street, just the first Nightmare on Elm Street in the nice little 4K set that they released it in. But I would love that box set, that lovely steelbook box set. The artwork is just something special. So I'm a little bit annoyed that I didn't pre-order that because I think it's possibly sold out everywhere. It's very expensive as well, but yeah, FOMO already on it. But yeah, so if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button because that helps us out a huge amount, as does hitting that little thumbs up button as well. That lets us know you've been here. It lets us know you've enjoyed the content. So yeah, do hit the thumbs up button. Feel free to start sharing the videos with your friends as well. If you have other friends, whether that's people you work with, family, whatever, that you know like games and just want to hear three middle-aged knobheads talk about video games a couple of times a week, send them our way. It'd be great to grow the community. We are, what are we now? A couple of hundred away from 4,000.
Yeah.
I
So
think so. Yeah,
we're so
getting
close to
closer.
4,000.
So close to 4K, yeah, about 200.
our goal is to see if we can hit 4,000 by 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be a fantastic achievement for this year. So yeah, do share the video with friends and family. If you're not already a member, come on over to the Facebook page, just search for Total Video Gamers and you will be able to find us. There's two. There's a legacy page, which you don't want to join because no one's in that anymore.
There is a link in the description of this video as well to the Facebook group. So if you want to find it, it's in the description.
Head on over to the Facebook page. Obviously, we talk about games a lot, but we can continue discussions going in there if you want to speak to other members. If you want to support the channel, you can support the channel by becoming a channel member on YouTube for £1 British, and all the money that we make from the channel goes into getting gifts and prizes for you guys as well. So any support that you choose to offer on that side of the platform is always very welcomed as well. So yeah, all that is left to say is I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. We will see you tomorrow for our evening with. And until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day. So good evening.